Hi all, welcome back to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. As you're aware, basically this is Autism Awareness Month, and I want to clearly address some of these topics I want to share with you all before Autism Awareness Month ends, basically of what I feel to address regardless what it is. But before I do, a brief introduction about myself for those who has just landed on my page today. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness. This is sharing my life stories with Aspergers Syndrome and the like, as well as giving tips and advice on how to go about your everyday life regardless what you're going through. If it's your general health, this is just the mental health, as well as everything else in between. I also do some other mixed kind of topics as well through the Beauty from Ashes, giving you guys messages of hope, clarity and understanding, as well as some peace, hopefully, for whatever everyday personal struggles you go through in your everyday life. So it has been brought to my attention, obviously, that while I've been researching and trying to share my food for thought on certain everyday topics that has been shared in the autistic community and out, that I feel to address to you all some of them that are close to my heart, even though I am on the freeway of just on the balance of some of the topics that has been shared with you all, regardless, especially for this autism versus acceptance, which this one's part 2 of it, obviously, of the Let's Talk Aspie, which is basically going to be Let's Talk Aspie, Autism Awareness versus Acceptance, replacing Autism Awareness with autism acceptance. So as you know, basically, while I've been sitting here, also I have been pondering for the last few months, obviously, how fast this in the last year has flown by so quickly. And obviously a random kind of thought out of my mindset popped up, and since now of sharing this topic, however, I thought maybe to share it with you all. Since we are now in the month of April, which is dedicated for Autism Awareness Month, however, even though the main dates that they have put it or set aside is April 2nd. Okay, just to bear in mind, just to clearly illustrate though, however, many individuals will display their personal autism symbols, be it a logo of some sort that may be coloured, here say gold, blue, or a symbol that may display a multiple colour of prisms of the rainbow that symbolises the individuality of the autism population. But I thought to myself while I was doing this, even though it is now in the year of Autism Month, basically, that I thought maybe to share with you all some of my food for thought on this, based on my opinions, experiences, and what I've read so far and watched, and trying to take into consideration of other people around me, of their beliefs as well, of what they feel is to them autism awareness versus autism acceptance. So in retrospect, please just respect what I'm about to say. This is just based on my personal beliefs and, you know, experiences and opinions, give and take. You know, I'll do the same for you, regardless what it may be of what you guys may want to share. So for that matter also, though, with my personal beliefs left aside or put in the shelf right now, I propose or suggest maybe in changing Autism Awareness Month to Autism Acceptance Year, even though, as I said before and earlier in the piece, you may think I'm contradicting myself right now into what I'm sharing with you all. Yes, I humbly apologise. Like I said, I'm on the balance between, in the middle of maybe we should have it as Autism Acceptance and Awareness Month. But then again, I'll just share my findings behind the logic of why I feel in this argument or reasoning behind this statement of what I'm sharing with you all today of this autism, you know, awareness versus autism acceptance month. So we really know what it really means of what autism awareness versus autism acceptance really mean. Hence why, you know, some of us autistics in the autistic community will likely to share with you all what it is all about. You may be questioning, what does it really mean? What does it actually, you know, show? What does it represent? Whatever it may be. But as I said before, logos, colours and symbols do, however, represent certain forms of, or to an extent, of autism awareness, which is prevalent during the month of April. People may equate the symbols with the autism spectrum. However, being aware that autism exists in comprehending to what autism spectrum is obviously composed of, which is the challenges that are faced by families that has children on the autism spectrum, as well as adults who live with it 12 months out of every year, basically, which is totally different, basically, to every other person, as well as underlying the pressing issue. For these individuals or families aware, though, autism awareness doesn't obviously end on when April comes close to an end, as well as all these symbols and autism awareness programs that have been clearly, shown or advertised or whatever it may be, even though there are plenty around also on the social media sites during the year of April that will bring about. But when April, however, disappears, however, in society at large, it will go on with they will go on with their daily lives, with the ones that has autism, as Autism Awareness Month becomes a distant memory for those families that has obviously, have autism, as well as just a distant memory for those in their minds. For individuals living with autism, however, and those that love them, autism doesn't have to end in April. As I said, it can be all year round. They're extremely aware that autism exists because of the everyday challenges that are connected with the autism spectrum that are meshed in their everyday lives. It's a lifestyle for them. It's not a choice. However, it defines how they live. Again, this will go down to what I said about identifying our personal preference of what we want to be called, but that will be more on the take later. Individuals who live or have loved ones on the spectrum have gained awareness based through their everyday life experiences while living with their child or whoever with autism. They will perceive autism from the perspective, as I said, with life experiences, which is quite different than equating to a logo that is shown with autism and leaving it as just that. Awareness is a resultant of, however, from knowledge. As they say, knowledge is power. Knowledge can only occur through interaction and engagement with individuals and families on the spectrum and educating the public in large numbers. People tend to fear of the unknown due to the lack of understanding the unknown. Again, understanding and knowing are two different catchphrases and terms here that is clearly addressed. So let's be clear here. Through education and interactions, fear is diminished and then a certain level of acceptance is created. Tolerance shouldn't be an ultimate goal either, as tolerance merely means that society tolerates a certain amount of people in the population group. For example, to illustrate to all to actually gain a better understanding, people will tolerate mosquitoes at a cookout or at a barbecue function, yet find them annoying at the same time. People on the spectrum, however, as well as their families, are human beings who shouldn't be merely be tolerated but accepted and embraced as meaningful members of society today and never before. So let's create a better understanding or a better society where autism colours and logos are equated with action. Support and seek out to understand these challenges for those on the spectrum by spending time with them. If you're a neighbour, for instance, of a family with a child on the spectrum, maybe stop by their house once in a while with a coffee for the parents and visit them for a chat for a while, get to know the parents and the child with autism. These families often feel isolated. They often feel like outsiders into today's society, however, and parents would welcome any visitors that they can who wish to chat with them. Maybe another food for thought you can do is taking their child out to give parents a break, or even having, some sort of programs that are specially designed for people that are autistic. Encourage your own children to include kids on the spectrum in their play. Inclusion is what any autistic would want and dream of, as well as being accepted for who and what they are as a person, despite being different. Yes, even if your child must adapt their play to include a special needs child. I can't stress it enough. In doing so, you will teach your neurotypical child a lifelong lesson by respecting for others' differences. Maybe offer to babysit so parents can spend much needed one-on-one time with typically developing siblings. Spending time with your husbands and wives, or merely allowing a sleep-deprived parent to take as much of a needed nap necessary. An increase in educational programs would provide a venue to educate the public. Even though social media sites and social platforms now, be it YouTube, Facebook and the like, are actually bringing forces to create this awareness and understanding. Schools incorporating special needs education is required parts of their curriculum. All parents attend special needs presentations at the beginning of each school year to gain the understanding of the challenges that are being faced with kids with special needs, and requires in services or accommodation on a regular basis for educators as well as students alike. Perhaps the students could be offered a course where they are paired up in class with a student on the spectrum, which they mentor and engage in the activities throughout the year, or they could basically be paired up with a learning support person that can help with their reading, writing and whatnot. Or another one is, for some autistics may want to be in a different room, but given within that having a list of activities and whatnot that it is in their day of what they need to do. Perhaps students could, as I said, for me, I have realised here, and I'm sure that many people will agree, here in New Zealand, that there is a bit of a minimal amount of voluntary programs or just certain programs put into place for people that are autistic here in New Zealand, even though we're trying to spread awareness and obviously spread more, more word of action by hopefully letting the government know about it. The majority of these programs focus on children. Considering the inclusive environment that we may live in, I would propose this special needs program as mandatory for graduation. Would prove to be valuable for all kids that will go into work in companies with differently abled individuals as adults. Aside from educating on the challenges of families and individuals that are on the spectrum, however, we must also shine a light on their capabilities and abilities to do more in their lives regardless of these everyday challenges. Obviously, despite us being different, we can achieve more with the right support and the right attitudes of people around us. Obviously, everyone will learn based through their experiences, not merely digesting the factual information at hand. Towns could start some, clubs such as photography clubs, art classes, writing workshops, dance competitions that displays the talents of people, their everyday challenges and their successes. Maybe to interview them in the local newspapers and display them as productive members of society, not merely individuals, and families should be pitied, however. They don't want your pity, they wish for understanding and acceptance. Through this course of action, help they not only support themselves but live, work and play side by side with neurotypical individuals who embrace them into society. Education programs within colleges, polytechnics, universities or even secondary schools across the world would prove a prudent move to actually increase the autism classes that is offered as mandatory within their curriculum, maybe in schools and in life in general. So that inclusive is now obviously is involved in that. Now that there is an increased need in assisting future educators by squelching this and other misconceptions about, autism and the like, by teaching the educators of tomorrow how to hone the skills that people on the spectrum do possess and need at that given moment in time. Just to bear in mind, they are no different than you neurotypicals. They do, however, wish to live a fulfilling life, just like anyone else would. Include individuals on the autism spectrum when offering presentations. After all, who knows what it is like to be living on the spectrum, right? So therefore, they can give you a light onto what it is. Invite parents of special need kids to speak at presentations. Some kids may be verbal, like me. Some may be non-verbal, but then again, they're all different. Just got to bear in mind how to engage and actually involve these people. They have lived, experienced, and would prove to be an asset, providing knowledge and experience that can't be found on Google. Offer to drive an individual on the spectrum who has no license to school, the store, doctor's appointments, etc. Highlight the skills of autistic individuals who may excel in maths, English, science, and more by inviting them to tutor a neurotypical individual who may struggle in that particular subject. Remember, an individual may struggle with specific academics, but then you will excel in others. So don't suspect that every autistic is the same, that we will excel in maths and then we will excel in science, whatever it may be. Every autistic is different in their way of how they excel. By turning the tables, we focus not only in their deficits, but their everyday challenges as well. Basically, there has been some neurotypical authors of books on the spectrum that would be able to hone in the autistic skills of an individual on the spectrum to illustrate one of their books, thus providing an opportunity for experience and employment. Allow someone on the spectrum to write the foreword for your book. After all, if you are writing a book about the spectrum, shouldn't you include someone with the live knowledge that they have, as well as the experiences that a neurotypical couldn't possibly possess and show? The opportunities to increase understanding regarding the autism spectrum is only limited by your own imagination, however, just to bear in mind. What will you do to help someone or their family on the spectrum this year? I would like to ask you all about. As you know, Autism Awareness Month is now on us. So what is awareness all about? I will start by illustrating or defining a definition of awareness that I may have mentioned in one of my posts or videos. According to the Merriam-Webster Encyclopedia, awareness means knowing that something such as a situation, condition, or problem, however, does exist. Knowing that something exists is not quite the same as fully supporting the issue. For example, would be that you may see a homeless man or woman out on the street and you feel some empathy for that dilemma in that given time frame. This is a concern and offers the individual. You can offer an individual the opportunity for a cup of coffee, etc. Has learned from their level of awareness and their knowledge, use their knowledge to take that form of action. This being said, I will not focus on whether the individual wears blue, red, or whatever it may be, as I am aware that many individuals may be connected with Autism Speaks or not, and may present negative connotations towards this organisation or group of Autism Speaks. I don't care for that matter if you guys wear polka dots or any other colour for that matter, so to speak. It's all about, again, acceptance. We may or should be surprised and find that the meaning of wearing blue for one individual during Autism Awareness Month may not fit ones that perceives these type notions or ideas or thoughts. I am trying to attempt right now to look beyond the colours and witness the individual's actions and characters first and foremost of that individual. In not doing so, I would present myself in a non-judgmental fashion, hopefully akin with the groups of whatever you may be, African Americans, Asians, Caucasians, Indians and the like, into a preconceived belief system. For example, on this point of what I'm stressing to you, all Asians aren't smart, all Indians aren't rich because of casinos, all African Americans don't play basketball, and all Caucasians aren't money-hungry baseball lovers. I would be acting in an archaic manner and stepping back into another century where prejudice did run rampant, however, in harbouring some of these notions into place. And the same kind of fashion, however, that if we were to work with one autistic individual, we have worked with all autistic individuals. This is a phrase that I personally believe in, and for that reason it is called the Autistic Spectrum. It is called a spectrum because there are many different degrees of autism, as I shared before earlier when I first clearly introduced my videos to you all. In this form of fashion of this ideology is an example of preconceived notion as well, though however individuals on the autism spectrum present with varied personalities and needs, just like typically developing individuals does as well, however. To take the idea of preconceived notions a bit further to clearly understand and illustrate, one mainstream of colour is symbolic for a group or belief. For another individual, that colour may symbolise something totally different. I will continue to favour the colour blue because it's symbolic of something very different in my eyes, however. However, this represents promise and just clarity. As I peer into the sky, I see spring approaching after a grey dismal winter. So for example, I see a beautiful blue horizon that has taken on a distinctly sharper, more vivid hue than any evidence in the winter sky. While peering at the spring sky, however, I see also, green grass growing and coming back to life, as well as the return of the birds tweeting outside my window, as well as maybe when I'm, going for rides, that I see, baby lambs and cows out booing and mooing around this place. In conjunction, however, with autism and connecting the blue horizon that extends for miles on end into the atmosphere and into our everyday planet of Earth, over the oceans, with the realization that the autism spectrum knows no boundaries, however. As the horizon is spread across the whole world and near as our eyes cannot peer or wish to see, the autism spectrum holds secrets that we cannot see or maybe forever understand. It will hold the secrets to individuals' futures that we cannot see. We don't have a crystal ball or anything for that matter that will try and predict the future. For example, a child that wasn't supposed to speak ends up doing so. A child whose parents were told to institutionalize them suddenly gains an awareness of their surroundings that wasn't expected, or no one has expected, further beyond our imagination. The child who wasn't supposed to toil or self-feed independently miraculously does so. As the horizon connects us all together through, although we aren't aware of the activity on the other side of the world, other children have a future path that we're not aware of with the ones on the spectrum. As you can see, blue possesses a different meaning for me as for anyone else. But let's get to know each other before making any form of judgments or harsh recalls on whatever else. We should be able to focus on the advantages of Autism Awareness Month by breeding awareness through our actions, not through our perceived notions and what we feel that we know about this. Forever, always, a colour will not change the world, but making a difference will, however. By helping a family, as I said before, that has a person or a child that is autistic, by just coming over basically for having a cup of tea, maybe by just going over there and help them do chores, watch this special child need of a child, as well as maybe once in a while talking to that child and just getting to know them. Maybe also enjoying a cup of coffee alone at a restaurant for an adult. However, though, on the other hand, though, for helping an adult on the spectrum who can't drive, by giving them a ride to work or elsewhere is valuable. Offer to help them compose a letter if they are struggling with their writing skills. Teaching a parent support class. Offer to teach life skills for free for transitioning young adults alike. These are just mere examples of focusing on not only awareness but acceptance in general, as well as educating you all for the autism spectrum as well. Last but not least, don't forever stop with only making contributions with Autism Awareness Month. And again, I said it's like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every year. Continue helping society to become accepting in a place where all on the spectrum can live, work, love and play, 12 months of the year. As you know, for families and individuals that are affected by autism, Autism Awareness is a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week ritual, everyday life for them. Parents, families and individuals without autism are affected by autism will still be living with it after April is nothing but a sheer mere memory. As families and individuals live with autism 7 days a week, as I said, let's make a pact to stay action orientated 7 days a week, as well as throughout the year. Maybe keeping your focus on a goal. When there is no more blue, what will you do, however, if you did basically support this colour? In summarising this before I end this though, Autism Awareness Month is April 2nd, yet it is celebrated throughout the whole month of April, as I said. So Autism Awareness Month, as I said, or awareness is defined as, according to the Merriam-Webster Encyclopedia, it's defined as knowing that something such as a situation, condition or problem exists. Knowing that something exists is not quite the same as fully supporting the issue. As this clearly example shared the example of a homeless man or woman left on the street, feeling some empathy for their dilemma. This is an example of an awareness of a situation, basically. And also, with all that being said, however, I wish you all a happy autism acceptance awareness year, whatever you want to call it right now for yourselves. But just remember, the autism symbols, colours and declarations of autism acceptance will become a distant memory or a mere memory of May once it comes. For those who don't have loved ones or live with autism, for those families that do have autism, is something we live by 365 days a year. Remember to continue to advocate, assist, attempt to understand those who live with this and interact with those in the spectrum on a daily. These individuals don't get put in a drawer and made to be released on April and every year. They are your co-workers, neighbours, friends, families, classmates, and hopefully, and within that, being your friends. May we all grow and interact, respect one another, and gain a better understanding and appreciation towards one another this year and for many years to come. Well, this basically ends Let's Talk Aspie Part 2 of the Autism Awareness versus Acceptance, of replacing autism awareness with autism acceptance. Give me the like for thumbs up support, comment below. Feel free to follow me on my social media sites listed below. Feel free to also turn on the notification bell so you know when and where I'm ready to go for sharing my life stories with you guys. So enough further ado, guys, thanks for your support, thanks for watching, do what you love what you do. Till next time, Aspie signing out. I'll see you.